Hello and welcome to the 2025 edition of my longest and hardest requirements guide of the Master Quest Cape. As usual, we've had some changes to the Master Quest Cape over the last year, with the continuation of the Desert Quest series adding a new lengthy requirement. One big change which happened in 2023 was when the Master Quest Cape became a requirement to obtain the Trimmed Completionist Cape. This means there is likely more people going for the Master Quest Cape than ever before. So, you may be here because you are looking to go for the Trimmed Completionist Cape, and if so, I wish you the best of luck with this long but very rewarding grind. You also might be here because you have just achieved the Quest Cape, and if so, I congratulate you on this amazing achievement. The next logical step for you will be to go for the Master Quest Cape, but I do understand how overwhelming the requirements look. Last year, there were 280 requirements for the Master Quest Cape when I released my last overview guide. This year there's a whopping 289, and yes, only one of them is to complete all the quests, and only one other is to complete all the mini-quests. If you choose this path, you must siphon through nearly 25 years worth of other lore content. If you don't know where to begin, don't worry, I've got you covered. My name is Glacial Phoenix, or the RuneScape Lorehound, and let's have a look at the longest and hardest requirements of the Master Quest Cape in 2025. Okay, as usual, before we look at the lengthy requirements, let's take a look at the updated skill requirements for the Master Quest Cape in 2025. So, you need all skills at least level 90 minus Invention, and this is for Challenge Maria and Dishonourable Gains. 91 Cooking and Crafting for some of the Arc mini-quests. 93 Magic, which is boostable for Advanced Sweeping. 95 Firemaking and Fletching for Bill and Ben's Egg Salon joint venture. 95 Divination, which is boostable for Data Recovery. 99 Runecrafting for stealing Cedrador's stones. 102 Mining, which I believe is boostable for the new Centaur of Attention achievement, released very recently. 114 Farming, which is boostable for Family Spirit Tree. 115 Slayer, which is also boostable for Message from the Abyss. 117 Dungeoneering, I'd recommend 120 for the Master Dungeoneering Cape perk, and this is for History of Bilrak. 120 Archaeology for all the research and mysteries, and finally 120 Necromancy for the Birds of Prey achievement. So, with the skill requirements out of the way, let's move on to detailing the longest requirements. Some advice and achievements have not changed since last year, but there are some new ones, and I have integrated the skills and quests needed before detailing each achievement this time. These will be presented before the start of each blurb. Please feel free to pause the video if you want to see these in detail, as I will not read them out to save time. As before, a lengthy requirement is classed as one that takes you 3 hours or more to complete. Let's start with All Rise, where you must complete all court cases. Here are the requirements. Please pause the video for a deeper look. So All Rise can be long if you try it without doing any research. Please see A to Z MQC Guide 8, which will pop up now, where I will explain how to shorten this achievement. One example of shortening this achievement would be setting your Miscellanea Kingdom to gain caskets from fishing. So the estimated completion time for All Rise is probably between 3 and 6 hours if you can buy caskets to loot court summons from, but it could easily be double that for Iron Men who will have to collect caskets themselves. Next is Ang's Off My Ring, where you must retrieve the wedding ring after the Light Within. Here are the requirements for this achievement. So, you must kill crystal shapeshifters until they drop a very rare ancient elven wedding ring. You should pick up Tardiad crystals from the floor that they drop to purchase attuned crystal armour from Angoth, because this increases the ring's drop rate chance. I have covered this achievement in detail already. Please see A to Z MQC Guide 9 by clicking on the suggestion card which will appear now. The estimated completion time for this achievement is at least 5 hours to get enough Tardiad crystals to purchase pieces of the attuned crystal armour and increase the ring's drop rate. Although you may get a lucky RNG roll. The ring's base drop rate is 1 in 1000. Next up is a new one for 2025, another one Scabarites the Dust, where you must kill elite profane Scabarites with the primed Keris equipped to upgrade it. Here are the requirements for it. These elite profane Scabarites are found at the Temple of Isolation, after the Beneath Scabarus' Sands quest. Killing 200 of these with a primed Keris equipped is needed to upgrade the weapon into the Consecrated Keris. I have covered this achievement in detail already. Please see A to Z MQC Guide 11 by clicking on the suggestion card which will appear now. The estimated completion time for this achievement is probably between 6 and 8 hours for the average player, if we assume you can get 1 kill every 2 minutes, and this includes banking time. Next are all the archaeological research and mysteries. So archaeology is a lore-based skill, and as such needs to basically be fully completed to obtain the Master Quest Cape. Here are the requirements for it. I think this is all of them. So as you've just seen, a lot of requirements, including 120 archaeology for the final autumn research. There are some great guides on getting archaeology to level 120, so please take a look around YouTube. The estimated completion time for all these achievements is very, very long. It's tons of AFK skilling, but mysteries rarely last more than an hour, and once found, research is AFKable and continues even when you're offline. This is completely optional, but if you have 93 magic, you can use the advanced time spell 3 times per week to complete archaeology research. This is obviously much quicker than waiting for it to finish. Thanks to Lorehounds Aristachus for pointing this out to me. Next is this group of achievements: Armadylean, Bandosian, Dragonkin, Saradominist, Zamorakian and Zarosian Expert, where you must restore a collection of each of these sets of artifacts. Here are the requirements for this group of achievements. Added to the Master Quest Cape in January 2023, this group of achievements adds a good number of hours to the archaeology based achievements, especially if you haven't done this as you are levelling up archaeology. If you haven't started archaeology yet, ensure that you restore 1 of every single artifact as you progress through the levels. If you have already levelled archaeology to 120 and used methods to quicken your progress, you may find you have some missing from your collection. Check your archaeology journal's archaeological artifacts section and then find and restore the artifacts which are darkened. Clicking on an artifact should reveal its excavation location. Once you have a full coloured collection log as shown on screen, you will unlock these 6 achievements. The miscellaneous section does not count. The Daemonheim dig site, released last year, added a number of artifacts to the Dragonkin Expert achievement. The estimated completion time is completely unpredictable. This is dependent on how many artifacts you restored on your archaeology journey. If you're new to archaeology, ensuring you restore all unlocked artifacts as you go is key to saving time. Next is Birds of Prey, where you must track all of the owls for Derin in the city of Here are the requirements. There are 14 owls hidden around the city of for you to find. While this actual achievement is not difficult or lengthy, this requirement requires a whopping 120 necromancy, which will take you some time to obtain, and I don't believe this level is boostable either. Luckily though, from my experience, I can say that necromancy is one of the easiest level 120s to obtain. Rituals during double XP weeks are a core part of making the grind easier. For more information on this task, please click the suggestion card which will pop up now, which is A to Z Guide 23, where I have covered this achievement in much more detail. The estimated completion time of this achievement is only about an hour, but you must factor in getting necromancy to level 120. Coupled with the Another Scabarites the Dust achievement is the Bugs in the Walls achievement. You must find and read the High Priest of Scabarus' notes, which are dropped by the elite profane Scabarites. The requirements are the same as before. The elite profane Scabarites have a book drop called Priest's Notes, which has a 1 in 100 drop rate, but is guaranteed by kill number 200. The estimated completion time is again 6 to 8 hours for the average player, 2 minutes per kill, including banking, but this has the assumption that you didn't get the book earlier than kill 200. Hopefully you've been enjoying this year's MQC guide. I just wanted to quickly say, please do subscribe if you are enjoying this content and want to see more. 87% of people who watch my content over the last 28 days are not currently subscribed. Anyway, sorry for the interlude, let's carry on with Castaways of the Ark. You must discover all of the Ark castaways. Here are the requirements for it. In various places within the Ark, you can find messages in a bottle which have treasure maps leading to castaways. There are 10 castaways in total, and each bottle you find has an interesting and unique cycle for when it appears. The first castaway bottle appears on 1 day, the second in 2 days, third in 3 days, all the way up to the 10th, which appears every 10 days. Once you've found a bottle, open it for a treasure map. Speak to Quartermaster Gully with it in your inventory to visit the Castaway. He should be found on the Waiko docks. Speak to the Castaway on their islands to log him or her in your Ark journal. Each bottle appears in different places on the Ark, which can be found on the RuneScape wiki or will be covered by me at a later date. You can view how many castaways you've found using your Ark journal. If you've lost your journal, speak to Sharkborn on the northern Waiko docks to reclaim. Very occasionally, as in once every 7 years, all castaway bottles appear on the same day. Unfortunately, this was last on the 9th of November 2022, so there won't be another one of these until the 3rd of October 2029. Needless to say, don't rely on that method. But the estimated completion time is still short, but it is time gated by up to 10 days. Next is Circus of Fire, where you must unlock the Firemaker's outfit from the circus. The requirements are as follows. This requirement is included on the list because you can only do the circus once a week, or twice with a D&D reset token. You must obtain the Acrobat outfit first, which will take a minimum of 2 weeks, but up to 4 without any D&D weekly tokens. You then need at least 1 more week to obtain both pieces of the Firemaker's costume, but it will take 2 without a weekly token. Additionally, you must obtain between 501 and 1000 points during the Circus D&D to get a piece of clothing. If you fall short of this, you won't be gifted a piece, and must wait until the next week to try again. The estimated completion time then is short, but it's time gated by up to 6 weeks. Coming up is Complete Trekky, where you must fully level up all temple trekking companions. Here are the requirements for it. Levelling up all temple trekking companions takes a while. Do make sure to take a blisterwood weapon or a sun spear, as you are likely to come across vampires which cannot be defeated with anything else. The estimated completion time is probably somewhere in the region of 10 and 20 hours. Let's now have a look at data recovery. You must help the Archivist recover all core memory data in the Hall of Memories. The requirements for this will pop up now. Data recovery is the achievement which pushes the divination skill requirement for the MQC up to 95, although this is boostable. Northwest of the Eagle's Peak Lodestone is the Hall of Memories, where you must help the Archivist recover all the core memory data. You do this by filling the memory storage bots he gives you. You must harvest 250 different tier memories to fill all 5 bots. The final bot requires a level 95 divination. The estimated completion time is probably around 3 to 4 hours. Up next is the Diary of Oreb, where you must discover and read all 5 journals of the Magister. The requirements are as follows. To get these journals it took me 3 nights of grinding, but I killed normal Sophanum Slayer dungeon creatures, where the estimated drop rate for each journal is probably around 1 in 800. Killing the Magister with 115 Slayer gives a much higher chance of each journal dropping at a 1 in 10. Whichever method you choose to do, make sure to read each diary as soon as you get it, or you won't get the next one. The estimated completion time for this is probably between 7 and 12 hours without level 115 Slayer, and if you're killing the regular Sophanum Slayer dungeon creatures, but it's probably much less if you kill the Magister for the journals. Diary of the Gods is an achievement where you must find all 5 God Wars journals. Here are its requirements. For Diary of the Gods you must obtain a lore book drop from each boss in God Wars Dungeon 1, including Nex, which is dropped with a boss's unique drop. For example, the Nex's Followers Journal would drop alongside a Verta's robe top, and the Glory of General Grador would drop with a Bandos helm for General Grador. The estimated completion time for this is probably at least 5 hours, but this is very difficult to predict due to needing multiple RNG drops from different bosses. Next is the Do a Minion, Take Notes achievement, where you must complete the Dominion Journal. Here are the requirements for this. The Dominion Tower is a place where you can face most quest bosses again. Joyous! You must collect journal pages from the Dominion Tower reward box in either Endurance, Climber or Special mode. I would recommend Climber mode over Endurance to maximise Dominion factor. The higher you climb in the tower, the higher the chance to gain more pages when you cash out your rewards in the chest. Best not take unnecessary risks though, because if you die, your earned Dominion factor will be sliced in half, reducing your chance of obtaining journal pages. So it's important to strike a balance between risk and reward. Importantly, do not destroy this journal after gaining some pages from the Dominion Tower, as it is not stored in your bookcase or retrievable once destroyed. You will have to start again and earn all the pages back. Unless Jagex have changed this, let me know. The estimated completion time for this is at least 4.5 hours, but it's completely RNG based, so it could easily be more. For Don't Fear the Ripper, you must find and read the 5 minor journals and the Diary of Jebediah Omnis, dropped by Ripper demons. The requirements for this are as follows. These books have a 1 in 100 drop rate chance, and summoning the Lorehound pet increases the drop rate chance by 25%, so 1 in 80. Each book is guaranteed after 200 Ripper demon kills, with Jebediah Omnis's diary being obtained by 1200. The estimated completion time here, if we use the 1 in 80 drop rate and you can get 40 kills per hour, around 10 hours is a good estimate for every book. However, it could easily be between 25 and 30 hours if you're very unlucky and end up having to kill 1200. For Dragon Inc. of Kraken Inc. and the Many Hands that Write, you must collect different books from bosses inside the first 3 elite dungeons. The requirements are as follows. Each first and second boss from the 3 elite dungeons drop a journal, which is needed for the Master Quest Cape. For reference, these elite dungeons are the Temple of Amanishi, Dragonkin Laboratory, and the Shadow Reef. Despite books from ED bosses having a 1 in 10 drop rate on story mode, it is likely that some of these journals will take you a lot longer than 10 kills, so please be aware that this requirement may take longer than expected. Please note you do not need to run the whole dungeon each time to reset the boss. Once you kill a boss, simply leave and restart the dungeon. The estimated completion time is probably at least 6 hours, but more if you have unlucky RNG. Dragonkin Diary gives me nightmares when I talk about it, but it's where you must find and return Neressa's journal to her. Here are the requirements for it. Killing Nodon Dragonkin on the Nodon front of the Elder God Wars will sometimes, or very occasionally, give you Neressa's journal, which you need to return to her. This is an interesting achievement, which is similar to Angs My Ring. The chance of getting the diary is very rare, being 1 in 800, but the Lorehound reduces that to 1 in 640. You are guaranteed to get the drop on Nodon kill number 1601. My friend Dragon got hers within 70 kills. I got mine at kill number 1601. Also, to make matters worse, for the average player, these Nodon Dragonkin aren't particularly AFKable, so this can be mind-numbingly tedious. The Nodon Enforcers, which occasionally spawn, have a higher chance of dropping the book, so make sure to defeat them when they appear. Just be aware they are more difficult than the regular Nodon Dragonkin. So we're saying 2 minutes per kill plus banking for an average player, could be slightly less. This achievement could take 20 to 30 hours if we're using the 1 in 640 drop rate. But this could be more or less dependent on RNG. It could be up to 50 hours if you have to kill as many as I did, i.e. 1600. All of the Dungeoneering requirements for the Master Quest Cape need high Dungeoneering levels and some luck. While you only need 117 Dungeoneering to complete the History of Bilrak, I would recommend getting to 120 for the Dungeoneering Master Cape perk. This gives you increased lore drop rates and a chance to pick the next boss you face. Here is a quick list and summary of all the Dungeoneering requirements. Behemoth Notes. 5 particular bosses drop parts of these notes. I've covered this in detail already in A to Z Guide 21. For the History of Bilrak, the final mysterious chronicle can be found on floor 59 to 60, which requires at least level 117 Dungeoneering. The last part of the Kaldurian notes can be obtained from floors 57, 58, 59 and 60, requiring at least level 113 Dungeoneering to access. The last letter from Marmaris and Thok can be obtained between floors 54 and 60, requiring at least level 107 Dungeoneering. For the Miscellaneous Notes achievement, certain bosses drop these notes. The Dungeoneering Master Cape increases the drop rate of each. And finally, the last Stalker note can be found on floors 54, 55, all the way up to 60, and requires at least level 107 Dungeoneering to access. So the estimated completion time for all the Dungeoneering requirements is very hard to predict. It's many hours of levelling Dungeoneering. I would recommend sinkholes, or you could do elite dungeon runs if you're into PVM. If you're going to go down the sinkhole route, make sure to do the Daemonheim hard tasks, as the rewards give you a 10% boost to experience gained in sinkholes. The lore drops are then RNG based, which then further increases the length. Next up is Eastern Adventurer, where you must complete storylines in your player-owned port. The requirements are as follows. Eastern Adventurer is the requirement that may make you want to cry. You will need at least level 90 in one of the skills which were on screen a minute ago to start it, but to finish this you need level 90 in all of the mentioned skills. Player Owned Ports is a D&D or minigame where you have to send ships out to explore the eastern lands and complete the story missions within. You must upgrade your port to get access to the later stories by sending out ships. You must have a certain amount of time at sea to unlock the next island, and there are 10 islands in total to unlock. The farther you go in the minigame, the longer the next island takes to unlock. A whopping 6 million total travelled miles are required for the last story mission, and there are 9 story missions per character, although some of the stories intertwine and involve multiple characters. Of the stories which involve multiple characters, I've been made aware of a shortcut from Lorehounds Etrikia in my Discord server and Redditor The Rue. Here it is. Some missions that involve 3 or more characters only occur if all the adventurers for that trio all come to the port at the same time. The idols you can build within the port increase these odds, but this doesn't mean you'll get all 3 adventurers appearing at the same time. But you can effectively force adventurers to appear by making them one of the only possible options left. Let me explain. When you get duos for the special missions that you don't need, send them out on a voyage and do not collect that mission when it returns. This locks out those 2 adventurers from the pool for the next day. You can do this with up to 6 of the 12 adventurers, which leaves a pool of only 6 that can visit. Put the hotspots back onto the ones that you're looking for, and you can wait because the chance is high, or use voyage rerolls to generate the needed story mission. Remember though, the final story mission will not appear until you get 6 million total miles, which you can check in your captain's log. Lorehounds Aristachus, again in my Discord server, also has a tip for everyone as well. The new Advanced Time spell, as I mentioned earlier, released with 110 rune crafting, can be cast 3 times a week and then used to auto-complete all active port voyages, speeding up the time it takes to get to that 6 million mile mark for the final ports story mission. Also, remember to take advantage of the Totem of Navigation on Anachronia, which reduces voyage time by 15%. I should say now that this requirement is unbelievably long and must be started early within your Master Quest Cape grind. It's so difficult to estimate a time to complete this, but I would say it's 12 to 18 months of playing each day. That would be sensible to me. If you're feeling a little bit deflated after that, let's get some inspiration from some creators and other lorehounds. Flysail says, "A daily that never feels good to do and always feels bad to miss." Not quite what I was looking for. I'm sure this one from MWZ is better. "A perfect blend of minigame and skilling horror that's highly addicting for certain types of players." Right. "I just send ships out. One day it will be done." Mr. and Mrs. Quack says, "The only activity I actively pretend doesn't exist because I don't understand." Oh dear. Surely 99% will succeed, right? Right. I think that's the best I've got for you. Good luck with ports. I don't envy you at all. Family Spirit Tree is next, where you must reconnect the Prifddinas Spirit Tree with her brethren. Here are the requirements for it. For this, you must fully grow all spirit trees throughout RuneScape. If you did not complete this achievement before 120 farming was released, you will now need 114 farming or a high enough level to boost to 114 to grow the final spirit tree in Manor Farm. If you completed this requirement prior to the release of 120 farming, you will not need to grow the final spirit tree, as Jagex did not reset the requirement when the new spirit tree spot was released for some reason. So the estimated completion time for this is very quick if you can boost to 114 farming, as you can buy growth potions from Granny Potterington to make trees grow faster. But it's slow if you need to level farming to a boostable level. For following in the footsteps, you must find out the outcome of the research continued by Virius. Here are the requirements for this achievement. This requirement used to take between 6 months and a year, but fortunately back in April 2023, Jagex reduced the time-gatedness of this requirement. Originally, this achievement was completed by visiting Virius at the Effigy Incubator once a month for 12 months to learn about his research. This was improved by the ability to use D&D monthly reset tokens, which whittled the minimum amount of time down to 6 months. There is now an even quicker shortcut for those players who have completed the Extinction quest. Virius can now accelerate his research by accepting 50,000 of each Anachronian resource per chapter, totaling 600,000 of each resource needed to unlock all 12 of the chapters. Of course, it will take your workers a fair amount of time to gather these resources, but not nearly as much time as it previously was, which was 6 months. Especially now with the advanced time spell, thanks Aristachus, that can now be used to generate more Anachronian resources at a quicker rate. The estimated completion time is now probably between 1 and 2 months. To become a friend of the Imcando, you need to engage in all of Thalmund's conversations over a 7-week period. The requirements are as follows. Each Wednesday at reset, Thalmund's ghost arrives just south of the smithy in the city of He will be there all day. When he arrives, you must ask him about one of his stories. The estimated completion time for this is short, but it is time gated by 7 weeks, which is why it made the list. Released as a part of the 110 mining and smithing update in August 2024, Heavy Metal wants you to obtain all the entries of Boric's Book of Metal by mining the listed ores and catalysts. Here are the requirements for it. Boric and Doric are back with another activity for you to complete. Boric wants you to fill his Book of Metal, which details the origins of each ore and catalyst in RuneScape. You do this by simply mining each rock type until the entry is filled. When you get a piece of the book, a prompt will pop up letting you know, and it will stop your mining. The estimated completion time for this is probably around 4 hours. It's Like Godbook Illuminations in here is an achievement where you must create all 6 illuminated godbooks after one piercing note. The requirements for this are as follows. For regular players, this achievement is unlikely to take more than a couple of hours, as you can just purchase the necessary god pages from the Grand Exchange, and create the books in St Elspeth's Abbey. However, Iron Men will have to gain these pages from clue caskets and other non-trading methods, so it will take them much longer. So the estimated completion time is 2 hours for regular players, but many hours as an Iron Man. Next up is Ivan is Flailing, where you must unlock the full power of the Ivandis flail by burning Via corpses in the Columbarium, which is beneath Patadomus. Here are the requirements for it. You must kill 500 Via Watch and sacrifice them at the Columbarium to upgrade the Ivandis flail, which is a reward from the MQC quest series. I collected many of the corpses on Slayer tasks, but these took just over 3 hours alone to burn. However, last year on my previous MQC guide, Alexander Bray highlighted that the keys actually stack on the pedestal, so you can collect the keys at once after a bulk burn. Still though, the estimated completion time is probably between 4 and 8 hours, because 500 Via Watch will likely take some time to kill. For Mahjarrat Memories, you must collect memories from different divination spots throughout the RuneScape universe. Here are the requirements for it. While this achievement is now included under the I've got a little list of mini-quests achievement and is no longer separate, it is important to highlight this very lengthy mini-quest as a long-winded requirement. You must gather various memories from important historical Mahjarrat locations. These memories take a huge amount of time to unlock, but are interesting for a Lorehound. The estimated completion time for this is anywhere from 6 to 12 hours. Coming up next is Message from the Abyss, where you must find and read the Scions of Erebus lorebook. These are the requirements. You must get a book drop called The Scions of Erebus from an Abyssal Lord released in early 2022. These require level 115 Slayer to kill, but this can be boosted from 110. Ensure you have your Lorehound out with you, as he increases the drop rate chance to 1 in 80. So the estimated completion time, using the 1 in 80 drop rate and assuming you can get a kill maybe every 3 minutes, I would say about 4 to 6 hours, but this could be more or less due to RNG. Remember, the estimated completion time also needs to include the time it takes to level Slayer to at least 110, so that will take many more hours than 5 or 6 hours. For My Precious, you need to find and return Greg Groggy Herring's lost ring, which he has lost at the Deep Sea Fishing Hub. To do this, you will need the following. You must fish at the Deep Sea Fishing Hub, and you will very rarely have the chance of pulling up a ring instead of a fish at any one of the fishing spots. Returning this to Greg Herring in the Crow's Nest next to the Fish Flinger's Fisherman will net you this achievement. No extra points for noticing the fishing pun there. The estimated completion time is unfortunately unknown due to RNG, but just be aware that the chance to receive the ring very quickly is very low. Next up is Ocellus Virius Notus, where you must fill the History of the Order of Ascension book with dropped journal pages. The requirements for this achievement are as follows. Killing Order of Ascension members in the Monastery of Ascension will give you an uncommon drop chance, 1 in 19, of obtaining Order journal pages. You will need 22 pages in total. 2 of these pages can be picked up from the lectern and bookshelf within the Monastery of Ascension. The estimated completion time then is probably around 3 to 4 hours to gain the other 20 pages, assuming you've claimed the 2 free pages and average around 30 seconds per kill. For one final ride, you need to read the Last Rider's book, which is dropped by the King Black Dragon. To do this, you need the following. The Last Rider's book has a 1 in 1000 drop rate, but summoning the Lorehound pet increases the drop rate chance by around 25%, so 1 in 750. The book is guaranteed after 2000 kills. The estimated completion time, based on 1 kill roughly every 30 seconds, between 6 and 17 hours, with the latter being if you had to kill 2000 King Black Dragons. Up next is Penny for Your Life, where you must unlock all rewards from Dimension of Disaster. Here are the requirements for this. Silver pennies are given to you as a reward for completing the Dimension of Disaster quest, which you can spend at Aris's reward shop, and you need 30 silver pennies to unlock all the permanent upgrades. This requirement is essentially completing Dimension of Disaster 5 times. You get 10 pennies on your first completion and 5 pennies per replay. The estimated completion time is probably between 7 and 9 hours. As a quick piece of advice, do make sure to complete the new Varrock area tasks during your Dimension of Disaster replays as well, because these are another set of MQC requirements. To become a research director, you need to unlock all the researchers by completing various tasks for them. To do this, you will need the following. Research Director requires you to recruit all possible researchers that can help you on your research missions. You do this by either completing various archaeological mysteries or gifting them a restored artifact. The estimated completion time is around 3 hours probably once you've completed all the mysteries and got the Guildmaster qualification, but a lot longer if you factor in the mysteries and Guildmaster qualification completion. For Skeletal Wishes, you must complete 2 wish lists for the Odd Old Man near Patadomus. The requirements are as follows. There are nearly 50 bones and furs to gather from different monsters across Gielinor, and even though they're fairly common drops while the activity is active, collecting them all is likely to take you more than 3 hours. So the estimated completion time is between 3 and 5 hours. For the History of Slayer, you must uncover all of the murals inside the Sunken Pyramid. Here are the requirements for it. This achievement can only be accessed after achieving at least level 99 Slayer. You need to collect 110 out of 170 souls from Slayer monsters in Gielinor, using 1 Ushabti per soul, which are bought from Slayer masters. This requires a total of 1,700 Slayer points to be able to purchase enough Ushabtis from Slayer masters. To make up the 110 you need, Pfizer in the Sunken Pyramid will gift you 25 free Ushabtis when you first talk to her at level 99 Slayer, hence why 1,700 additional Slayer points are needed and not 2,200. Pfizer also gives you 1 free Ushabti each time you level up Slayer, and an extra 4 when you get to level 120, so you may need less Slayer points than that. It is worth noting that with 115 Dungeoneering and at least level 95 in all other skills, you can do the Motherlode more daily, which has a chance of giving you some Ushabtis. The estimated completion time is very high for this. I would say it's 45 hours plus. It's a very long achievement where you are just killing Slayer monster after Slayer monster after Slayer monster. To dream, perchance to keep, where you must help past keeper Sharagan to remember all stories within the Dream of Aya. To do this, you need the following. You must allocate Anachronian resources to skilling plots in the Dream of Aya, so watch out here if you are saving those resources to give to Fisindithas for following in the footsteps. You must unlock a story from each of the 6 skilling plots, which are Herbalore, Fletching, Hunter, Fishing, Construction and Crafting. Each skilling XP drop at these plots will give a chance to progress the shopkeeper's willingness to share a story with you. Once you get 4 of these lore drops for 1 stall, the stall owner will share their story with the past keeper, and you will have completed the story for that stall. The Lorehound pet does increase progression chance, so have him out. You can gauge how far you are along in unlocking the next part, as a shopkeeper will start with something generic about your lack of progress, and then will progressively imply you are closer to unlocking a new part. As confirmed by Cronus Square on the 2024 MQC guide, you are able to force the receiving of each story part by contributing 1 XP at a time to the skilling location. This is a lot more click intensive, but allows the requirement to be done with much fewer Anachronian resources. Also, you could use the advanced time spell, thanks Aristachus, one more time, to speed up the collection of your Anachronian base camp resources, which can then be spent on the Dream of Ire for this achievement. The estimated completion time for this is very difficult because it's time gated, as you need Anachronian resources which take time to get, but it is also RNG based, so I have no idea. The RuneScape wiki estimates around 9 hours. Tome Raider is the penultimate achievement in this list that requires you to collect 3 lore books from bosses inside the Sanctum of Rebirth. To do this, you need the following. 1 book is dropped by Vermix, 1 by Kezalam and 1 by Nakatra, and these are all common drops. The estimated completion time, I would say between 3 and 5 hours. Perhaps it won't take you 3 hours if you don't suck at bossing like me. Be sure to check out this video where Charliescape and I fail at these bosses. And finally, as usual, we have your Not My Real Mah, where you need to gather Elder Chronicle fragments in the Elder Halls of Frenesque. The requirements are as follows. You must collect Elder Chronicles when they are released from Divination Springs in the Frenesque Elder Halls. This can be sped up with the Elder Divination outfit. If you have not completed the Mahjarrat Memories mini-quest yet, you could do this at the same time as this achievement. The estimated completion time is between 7 and 12 hours of constant divination gathering. And that brings us to the end of the 2025 Master Quest Cape Longest and Hardest Requirements Guide. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, and I hope it was somewhat helpful. This guide is not designed to give you an in-depth overview of the Master Quest Cape. This video would probably be like 10 times longer if I was to do that, but it is designed to give you a good starting point and a reasonable understanding of what the Master Quest Cape will throw at you. If you have any further questions about the Master Quest Cape, please feel free to join my Discord server, the Lorehounds Lounge, via the description and ask them in there. If the Master Quest Cape is something you are going to go for, please make sure to subscribe to my channel to receive more Master Quest Cape guides in the future. So the final thing for me to do then is to wish you all a very good day, evening or morning, and guess where I'll see you next. That's right everybody, in the next video.